Voting in the States General in the past had been conducted accordingly to the principle that each state has one vote. So earlier there was a system known as one state have one vote. That means the whole first state have one vote, second state have one vote, and third state have one vote. This time too, Louis XVI was determined to continue the same practice. So even this time, Louis XVI determined that the same practice which was done since so many years, he even tried to follow the same practice. But members of third estate demanded that voting now be conducted by the assembly as a whole, where each members would have one vote. But the members of the third estate demanded that now all the members, whether they belong to first, second, or third estate, all the members should have one vote individually, not the whole group. This was one of the democratic principles put forward by philosophers like Rousseau in his book The Social Contract. The same thing about the social right or the voting rights was mentioned by a famous philosopher known as Rousseau in his famous book The Social Contract. When the king rejected these proposals, members of third estate walked out of the assembly in protest. So when the Louis XVI did not accepted their demand, the members of the third estate, they walk out from the assembly as a protest against Louis XVI. The representative of the third estate viewed themselves as spokesmen for the whole French nation. So the representative of the third estate viewed themselves as a leader who will represent the whole French nation. On 20th June, they assembled in a hall of an indoor tennis court in the ground of Versailles. So on 20th June, they assembled in the hall of an indoor tennis court in the ground of Versailles in order to discuss what should they do so that they can get their rights. They declared themselves a national assembly and swore not to disperse till they had drafted a constitution for France that could limit the powers of the monarch. So finally they declared themselves a national assembly or a national party, and they swore that they will not stop revolting till they had drafted their own constitution for France, and which would limit the powers of the monarch, that means the king's power. They were led by Mirabeau and Abbe Sieyès. So the National Assembly, which was established by the third estate, was led by Mirabeau and Abbe Sieyès. Mirabeau was born in a noble family but was convinced of the need to do away with the society of feudal privileges. So though he belonged to a noble family, but he understand the problems which the third estate were facing, and finally he take the lead. He brought out a journal and delivered powerful speeches to the crowd assembled at Versailles. So he even brought out, or you can say wrote, different types of journals and delivered very powerful speeches to the crowd assembled in the Versailles, so that whatever he will say in his speeches, he can motivate the mass of the France, and finally they can revolt against the monarchy system in the France.